Age of Empires is really, really complicated. And there's so much depth to it that we're constantly learning new things, which is one of the biggest things for me that keeps me motivated to make content for you all the time. And recently, Derp, who is pretty experienced and started the trend with a lot of this, found the gate bug. And I don't know how long this gate bug has existed. Maybe it's existed ever since Palisade Gates were introduced to the game like 3 or 4 years ago, or maybe it's just a DE thing. But I will show you in this game the gate bug. It's pretty freaking funny. Now, another thing, as we break this down, I'm going to give you a good cast here. It's not just about the gate bug. I wanted to give you a tip. You'll notice Derp over here playing as the Goths. Derp has the two-house start. You have two villagers on one house, one villager on the next house. The reason for that in all build orders is so you do not get pop capped. You still slightly get pop capped if you build the first one with two, but it's not a big deal. So you don't get housed if you do it this way. So you might be thinking, well, why on earth is Dark building three, one with each villager? That is the Spanish building bonus. So you'll check it out. You won't get pop capped because Spanish do build faster. Wait for it. Boom. First house already up, even with one villager. So if you're playing Spanish, whether it's random civilization or you pick Spanish because you like to go for conquistadors and paladins and you don't like to spend gold on blacksmith upgrades, you can maybe use that in your gameplay at some point soon. Anyway, so we're not going to see any units trapped just yet, but this is an overall great game, which also incorporates the whole gate shenanigans. Now, I'm going to hopefully be using the Capture Age program in the near future. They released it publicly to cast games with, but there's been a lot of issues. After speaking with them, I think in a few weeks, I'll be using that for the most part all the time in 1v1s. But till then, you guys probably know that I have a habit of clicking things, right? And I'm not promising that I'm going to be any better with that here. However, I just changed some settings, so now I can just hover my mouse over things to see the HP and see how much food is left, yada yada. And I will try not to click as much using this feature. So you might see the HP on some random trees, but at least I'm not clicking it to check, and then you can't see the stats at the bottom left. Again, hopefully the stats at the bottom left, not a big deal long term, if that Capture Age program actually ends up working for me finally. But let's break down this Civ matchup. So Dark is playing as the Spanish. Derp is playing as the Goths. First thing that comes to mind for me when I think Spanish is conquistadors and build bonus. And the two kind of complement each other because Spanish villagers building faster means that you can wall up, which is kind of what you need to do in some cases if you want to get to the conquistadors. However, I think that makes Spanish pretty one-dimensional, and it's not something you necessarily have to do. A lot of people at the high level will try and get to conquistadors because they figure it's the best way to get a win. But I've seen so many games, this Dark weakens the boar with his TC, and boom. I've seen so many games where the other bonuses for Spanish do pay off. So we'll see what Dark ends up going for. You can still go for scouts. You can still go for other things. Dark is currently at home pushing Endear, which tells me that he might go for the scouts. Over here you have Derp, and Derp is Goths. And Goths, in my opinion, are the most imbalanced civilization in our game. And truthfully, that's just part of their identity. If you've played Age of Empires, you have probably died to the Goth spam. It is almost impossible to stop, it feels like. But the more experience you get and the more games you watch, you've also seen Goths die because they do not get any eco bonuses. And also, you need a lot of eco to spam the cheap infantry. So, it's, again, it's an imbalanced civilization in my eyes because I either see the civilization get killed very easily, or the civilization kills very easily in later stages of the game. So, I don't know. It's an interesting one. I think that people at lower levels pick Goths because they don't feel very capable as a player. And so they need something to, and no offense, I feel like I'm going to offend 90% of my audience here. But I think the logic is you don't have as much confidence taking advantage of all these other bonuses and other civilizations that exist. So you just hope to survive to a certain point, so the Goths will bring you home a victory. And I could be off base on that, but certainly when I'm playing Goths, I even have that line of thinking, like, let's just hold on for a bit, and then it doesn't have to be pretty. We just spam like crazy. All right, so Derp. Derp is about to place a barracks here, I think. Okay, the barracks is going to be over here. And it's worth pointing out that Derp is, he has been 2K, but I think around this time, he was around 1950, 1900. Now, he has spent, this is the amazing dedication that I love. He has spent the entire week, ever since he figured out the gate bug existed, trying the gate during various games. And when I spoke to him, he said that he has lost 100 elo because he can't help but go for it every time. So yeah, Derp loves his quick walling. I think it's part of the game for him, and we will see it in this game. Trust me. Also, at the very end, I'll even show you the reaction from the enemy, because Dark was streaming at the time. We'll edit that into the video. Should be fun stuff. Dark, he's an amazing player. 18 or 19 years old. And, I mean, this is a name that you should get used to hearing about. He's within the top 50, top 60. He's been competing in a lot of tournaments. It is really tough to break into that top 16, where you see a lot of the big names competing all the time for the big tournaments. But when you're this young and you play this much, I think Dark will go places and is part of our future competitively. He is going for a scout build, and this is as simple as you like. 2 lumber camps into a stable, and you look over here, Derp is going for his militia into the man-at-arm upgrade, and he's starting to wall up. So, again, with Goths, you probably want to play defensive. It's really good they don't get access to Stonewall. The devs thought that through because they realized that if that Civ can camp too much, then it'll end up being too strong. And Dark, it's not scouting this, not realizing this. I will fortunately get the stable up, but the units are in here. Now, this is the area you want to focus on. So, I'm going to pause it for just a second. We have a lot of quick walling, right? Derp is about to go in for an attack. But as I said, Derp, in virtually every game he's been playing, he's focusing on the gate trick, all right? Now, I'm gonna try and do this slowly so I can point out why this happens and show you how silly it looks. But it's worth pointing out, since we're also casting the game and trying to break it down, that the rest of Derp's eco just goes freaking potato. Idle, idle, idle. He's going to have a lot of idles going on, also trying to attack at the same time. So here he goes. Good quick walling there from Dark. Now over here, this is where it goes down. So this should be a dead villager. This villager should definitely die. Now, if you look, a gate covers 4 tiles, all right? So, but you can build a gate on the end of it. So normally you've seen like quick gates to block off units, but watch this. If you build the gate on the very end and a unit or even units are within a 4-tile gap, you can trap it. Now, units, let's say it was a paladin. The enemy could instantly start attacking the gate, and then the gate would go down because gates that are unbuilt have very low armor. But Derp just has to complete the gate and lock it and make sure his villagers don't walk through there. And that scout is just going to be trapped.
Что? Что? Не понял сейчас.
It's amazing. It really is amazing. Look at that. He locks it immediately, and the scout is trapped. And I know for a fact that when Dark experienced this was his first time seeing anything like it, and he was like, what? What just happened? Now, can you imagine? I mean, it could be 4 scouts on box formation. Can you imagine getting more than 1 unit? I mean, at this stage, it's, you know, it's a big investment. But if you're able to get 3 or 4 scouts with that, I don't know. It's a normal thing. It's not a bug. It's a feature. It really should be fixed at some point. Imagine if stone gates could be like that. And then this is what Derp is good at normally, as quick walling. Now, we haven't looked over here. Check this out. Derp focusing on the quick wall. As he's focusing on the quick wall, boop, 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 saves his villager. Impressive stuff. Still wide open, and then his army just gets trapped in. So, I think Dark has certainly got the better of these engagements. Dark has been able to kill some villagers. He has been able to slide in with 2 scouts to harass, and now these men-at-arms have just been trapped. So, but this is why, this is the big reason I wanted to show you this, because that scout is just stuck in there. Can't do anything about it. It's one of the weirdest things I've ever seen. And again, if it's not fixed soon, which by the way, devs, please do that. We could see some hilarious things. I think this is sloppy from Derp. There's no reason to be out here with a weak villager. He tries to quick wall again, and that's unfortunate. He actually was able to get the palisade foundations down. But that also happens at times, and so Dark is 4 villagers ahead. And I'm sure surprised that this happened, but happy with his position nonetheless. So Derp, he's been farming a lot. Both players have been going for a lot of eco decisions. And not a single follow-up building. So, well, the follow-up building's here for Derp, but that took a while. And the follow-up building for Dark would normally be an archer range, but he doesn't seem too interested in doing that. I love his farms here. The only farm you could really nitpick on would be this one. But everything looks good. Very clean play. And he will add an archer range there. Priority for him would be walling up and then making decisions on what you do in the next stage. You don't know what Derp's going for because Derp now has you walled out. Look at this. I love how he sends over a skirmisher just so the scout can't escape. Yeah, if you were to unlock that gate, he might be able to poke it down. So funny, man. But fortunately, this turned into a pretty good game beyond the trap. Otherwise, I would have made this a very different video. But leave me your thoughts in the comments. I don't know, about any endless possibility that you can think of. What? I don't know what I just said. I'm sorry. Lots of farms now for Dark. Still not walled. And maybe he did. Yeah, he saw the range. I'm really not sure why Derp decided to go for skirms and spearmen here. I mean, an archer follow-up could be decent. He's probably just going to macro his way up towards the next stage. But as for why he made so many skirmishers, maybe he wants to kill the scout faster. Oh, is this spearman? This spearman's strapped in here. That's funny. But yeah, Dark looking clean. His eco's looking good. 21 on food. So that looks like he's tempted to go into the knights. And there he goes. Now, he does have an archer range, so he could send an archer or a skirmisher over here himself. And he could take this out. He eventually does have to deal with that because he's been repairing the buildings. He'll add the second stable, and he's also walling on towards the front of his base. This will be an insane uptime. The gate was deleted. That is a lot of rubble for one palisade gate. I don't know why I haven't thought about this before, but that feels excessive. Fix that too, devs. Come on. There's the market for Derp, and so Derp is now thinking survive, right? Now, Spanish, they don't have an eco bonus, but the building bonus does help them with a lot of things. Plus, their blacksmith upgrades don't cost gold. These are all bonuses that Goths do not have. Goths, it's just cheap infantry. But the good thing about Goths is if you're able to survive, and even if you're behind by 10, 15 villagers, you can spam pikemen, longswordsmen, or maybe get to halberdier and champion. Very tough for civs to deal with that. Now, Spanish is one of the better civs to deal with that because they have Conquistador, as I previously mentioned. But if they don't want to go that route, they can go for champions and hand cannons. But for now, Dark is going to be content with going with knights. I think Derp is run over here, not expecting to do too much. And actually, Derp is about to do something. This is another little tip. He is going to patrol his unit on no attack stance. And this just means they're going to be here for longer, right? Because every once in a while, there's a miss, there's a miss, there's a miss. Yeah, the Dark might get a bit closer, but point is, if you do that, you just force Dark to repair that blacksmith a little bit longer. Now, I'd say where the building bonus really pays off is when you're trying to go for town centers in a greedy situation. So Dark's going to add a town center back here. Dark might be tempted to add another one, but it's a lot of booming for him with 2 stable knights behind it. Now, he does need to be thinking about putting pressure on Derp, right? If you just boom, and then Goths just boom, yes, currently Derp is behind, but still, I think you want to harass and boom if you can. Something that lower levels do struggle with. It's hard to get that balance down. But at the high level, I always say take map control and boom behind map control. Don't just boom, don't just add eco. and then end up being surrounded by enemy military. Because an unprotected economy is a crap economy, if you ask me. It really does depend, though. I played a game earlier where enemy was Teutons and I was Turks, and literally every resource and a neutral gold was behind their walls. Like, it just went scouts into palisade walls with houses behind the palisade walls. But there wasn't a single resource that I could harass except for a woodline or two. So in that case, yeah, he was able to just boom. That was a brutal one for me. The Turks not having a lead skirm gave me some problems there. Derp doing probably the correct move here, and you know, he could go into some monks. He could have gone into crossbow. None of these things are really great with Goths. So he's playing defense. He's adding town centers, so he doesn't want to fall too far behind economically. And he's also going for pikemen. Dark also doing what I would consider to be the correct move, and he has a siege workshop here. You could also go, if you're expecting pikemen, you could also go for crossbow, but with Spanish, they don't get access to crossbow. I don't think making Castle Age archers makes the most sense. The better way to say that would be with other civs. You can go crossbow as well, but no, I think he's going to add some siege. Dark happy to see the idle time, happy to see the houses, and I think he expects the pikeman move as well, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, he sees the barracks garrison, so he's probably expecting that. Derp with 46 villagers and Dark with 55. Dark did not get the final armor upgrade on the knights. He does have bloodlines, but no upgrades on top of that armor upgrade. And Goths with their cheap pikemen. No upgrades on these either, but this is a good opportunity here for Derp to push back. Like I said, this game wasn't just about, as the man-at-arms are still here, by the way, this game wasn't just about the traps and quick walls, as Dark tries to do the same and will fail. This is also a quality game. So, Dark invested into Knights. Derp has now switched into Pikemen to counter, and he's going to do one of my favorite things, and the thing I'd suggest if you're playing Goths on open maps, and that's take map control and boom. So with other civs, I think you want to stop producing pikemen here. But with Goths, it's so cheap. Just flood with pikemen and think about staying in Castle Age for a very long time. Big fight here. There's a Maganel and 2 Scorpions there. And the pikemen do... Oh, no, they do have the armor upgrade now. And Dark's thinking that if he uses the siege, it would help him. And truthfully, it really did help him there. I landed a couple shots with the Maganels. The Scorpions also landed hits. But it's 15 military against 8 military. Kind of looks like Dark is just giving up this spot now. Now, is it worth it? Derp had to make a second barracks. Derp had to get armor. Derp did have to create quite a few pikemen, and he ended up losing everything. It's still probably a fight that Dark would like. But he only has an army of 3 knights currently. So yeah, and my favorite thing with Goths Den is the natural switch for the enemy is to go in toward the champion line. So when you get to the point where you feel as though you have enough pikemen and they need to switch, then you just click man-at-arms, or you already did that, so click longsword and just spam those 2. Even if they go imp, then you might end up having 30-40 longswords versus their 10 champions, and you might not have the time to get the champion. There's just a lot of things that you can do. So Dark is clearly just giving up on this. He sees that this is too much. It's not even worth him to try and protect the siege workshop at this point. He does lose a monk in there, Derp. The Dark will try and buy time, maybe. Any military units that he draws back into Derp's base will not be at his base. And you look over at Dark's base. Now, I watched this recorded game already. And it's really interesting how seamless this all looks. He does have the gold and he does have the stone forward, but he'll go barracks, 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 barracks. And then he needs his second building. He already has the siege workshop. So the other building would be a university or a monastery at home. And there's the monastery. And so he's just completed the handcart upgrade, so his eco is as efficient as could be when it comes to, well, you know, those upgrades. Of course, he might not have the stone and gold upgrades. But he's just now looking at the point where he would be able to click up to imp and go into champions. I remember when I was a beginner, I used to play Spanish all the time. Even when I played online and I was a beginner, not just against the AI. Because I thought Spanish were sick, man. You could go into everything except for the archer line. You've got the champions, you've got the paladins, you've got the conks, and then their blacksmith upgrades don't cost gold. Now, still, as Dark deletes his 9, so he was harassing a little bit with that. And Derp has gone up, and I agree with this decision, to the 4th town center. Now, he's getting pop capped. He's got so many vills and pikemen queued. He needs to fix that. And I think that Derp got a little bit caught in the boom mindset. And not that I don't like the boom, but while he's booming and spamming, he's almost spamming too much here. Like, do you need to make pikemen at this stage? You don't need to make any more pikemen. I think he's queued up one too many. And what I would have probably done, and of course it might not have worked out, is the second I cleared this, I would have clicked longsword, and I would ideally have longsword here already. Now, it's easy for me to say, right? And maybe I would have died in Dark Age. But talking about what's needed, what you would want to have, you just have to put your foot on the gas in that moment. The Dark is not doing what he needs to do. And that is just holding map control, right? And protecting himself. The Dark is house walling for now. He's just clicked supplies, which makes the infantry, or more specifically the champion line, a bit cheaper. Now makes it 45 food for each man-at-arm instead of 60. More than worth it to get that upgrade. And by the time he's an imp, long swordsman will be completed, then he needs two-handed swordsman, then he needs champion, but the timing on everything seems pretty good. Still, there's a lot of these pointy boys. They counter knights. They do not counter champions. Now, Derp is still in this game. Derp's going to drop a castle here that protects these golds. You don't need that much gold when you're Goths, but he's going to have that gold there. Very close to everything. Dark had a knight patrolling and snipes that monk. That's cute. I guess at the moment, yeah, Derp's on 2 relics. Third one's in the back of his base. He wants to get all the relics. He is an arena player, so that would make sense. But Derp, what's the barracks situation, my friend? You got the timing down on the gates, but what about the barracks? He's got 2 barracks. He's got 2 barracks, and he's getting anarchy. I really don't know what he was expecting at this point. I suppose he just... Oh, he didn't see the extra barracks. And Dark's not even going to show him either. Dark is not giving him any idea of what he's going for. Here come the longswordsmen. And soon to be two-handed swordsman, and then champion will be coming in after that. There's not much space back here, but Dark has been able to fit 60 farms there. He uses the knight to snipe 1 monk. Don't tell me the knight will get another one. No, he won't. But Derp, I think, was thinking about Huskarl. And he was building his production buildings on the front. 47 military for Dark. This just came out of nowhere. He, of course, has to deal with the pikemen at his base. Also has got some pikemen knocking on the houses over there. But still, he is about to have the imp armor upgrade. And Derp isn't even an imp yet. Listen to this. It's so satisfying. This is the best way to take out a town center, by the way. Instead of just clicking it from far away, getting underneath it so you can stack units and get more hitting the town center at the same time. That's the way to do it. That TC just melts, and champions on the way. Now, Dark's in a unique spot where he's still got pikemen in his base he's got to deal with. And he does have to worry about some type of a follow-up from Derp because Goths have a knack for winning these types of games. So, you have to make a decision on if you're comfortable tossing units away to gain an eco lead or a military lead, or if you just need to maintain your mass. And I think in this case, because you've already set Derp back, the best thing you can do is just dive. It's almost like you're playing against Goths as Goths, you know? Goths are known for weak KDs and spamming underneath castles and town centers. I think you have to do the exact same, because the longer you give Derp, the more Derp is going to be able to make that tech switch. So this is a perfect move from Dark. Don't worry too much about how cute this all looks. Don't micro it. Just patrol in there and then go back to your barracks, produce more, and spam to the other side. This is crazy stuff from him. It's almost like a Hussar raid. That's what it reminds me of. Just switching sides constantly, constantly, constantly. More barracks going up on the front. 72 on food for Dark. 72 on food 38 minutes into the game. That is really insane. And these farms are all idle. You look at Derp. Derp has 22 on food. I haven't been able to pay attention to his upgrades, but I don't think he even got to champion. And GG. That went from 0 to 100 really freaking quick. But if I was streaming this, I'd say salutes for Derp. A respect to him for tanking 100 elo, just trying out the gate trick. Dark is a 2K1, 2K2 player anyways, so gate trick or no gate trick, I think that there was always going to be a struggle for Derp. But tell me your thoughts on the gate trick. I will show you a clip here in just a second of Dark's reaction when he saw the gate. Should we keep it? Should the devs allow that bug to stay like other things that currently exist in our game, or should they get rid of it? I have not seen any testing with stone gates. I know stone gates also don't have armor when they're not completely built, but I would be a little concerned if paladins and Mangudai start getting trapped by stone gates. But yeah, give me your thoughts. I'll end the video with a clip from Dark's stream. This was Dark's reaction when his scout got trapped in.
Why was he not attacking me?
Haç keser men. Evet.
Anladım. Evet. Bir an çay dermen. Evet. Anladım. Anladım. Kurur men.
Oh my god.
Baru an çay dermen.
How do you do it?
Evet.
Derp!
Anladım. Çay dermen. Kurur men.
Oh my god. Derp!
Anok men. Salam.